Welcome back to your favorite streamer. I know it's a crazy claim to make, but I'm gonna make it, guys. It's your boy Forrest Knight here. It is Thursday, okay, almost the end of the week. Another opportunity to get after it, though. Make sure this thing is streaming appropriately. Oh, we are. Let me update the title list. How to make money on Thursday. We're still in an uptrend. Okay, swing long is doing well. Okay, we got in off of the low back here, around 22,800-ish. Timo, what's up? Good morning. Welcome back to the best place on the internet. I do think that, let's see what we got here. Someone's streaming in the Discord today. Oh, it's going to be Alan later. Okay. Let me go ahead and share this link real quick. Collect the troops. Oh, you're faster than me. The squad is on it. The squad is on it. Cool. All right. Admin work is done. Good morning, y'all. Really. All right, let's do a quick look. I have to be quick today, guys. So if you remember your homework from yesterday, I wanted you to come in with some questions to ask. All right. So we're going to go ahead and get into the charts. Let's start on the daily chart. ES daily. Okay. Now, remember my price target higher that we called out yesterday? Look at that. We went right to it. I don't know what to say other than I put the line on the chart. So nice little overnight grind up right to it, right? That's just based off of the VP. From here, I do think we could actually grind higher today, right? We have a B shape right now, which we'll see once we go to the lower time frames. Okay, we cracked this little resistance trend line that was above us. Okay, we have seen, by the way, this action. Remember yesterday, I was talking about this kind of tweezer pattern that we got, right? Tweezer pattern, this actual set of bars, I want you guys to internalize and remember this, well, really this entire set of bars here, okay? Specifically in an uptrend, this happens a lot, okay? A lot. And this is the reason why for probably weeks now, or probably 2 months now, I have said I am not changing my bias until the market proves without a shadow of a doubt, because this is very typical in an uptrend. This is very, very typical uptrending kind of price action, right? Strong down move, swept a level, and it looks like there's a lot of options for downside, but instead it finds support and it comes higher, right? So we get the tweezer pattern, 2 days of consolidation. Now it's moving up a little bit. So it's just very, very common to get faked out like that in an uptrend, especially when you have a fast move into a slow move. Okay, so let's write all these things down. Okay, so we have uptrend. Okay, all-time highs, fast move into a slow move. Okay, this 0.3 is really important here in general, but in this context is really what matters here. But anytime you have a fast move into a slow move is where people get absolutely obliterated. If you think about your trading and when you've probably had it the roughest, it's probably going from a fast move into a slow move, right? Because you start to second guess yourself. It's because you see one fast move and now you're waiting for another fast move and another fast move. But the market very rarely does fast move, okay? It went fast move in this case into a very, very slow grindy move. So we hit our PT1 from yesterday. That's cool. That's fine, dandy. Not surprised by my own levels anymore, to be honest. Kind of just know what's going on. Let's see here. NQ pushing higher. Looking for all-time highs on NQ. So my swing long, I'm debating. I should just hold this until 24.5. The thing is that this is, I do think that this all-time high thesis is going to play out. My swing long is taking a little bit longer than I anticipated for my initial thesis. So my timing's not always perfect anyways. That's not really the issue here. I don't know. This might be, I just need to be a little more conservative here. What I'm not going to do is after we get to all-time highs, let this come back too much. I'll tell you that. So, actually ended up not moving my trail yesterday because it just wasn't necessary. My thesis was totally fine. And so I will be trailing once we hit 23,848 all-time highs, locking those in, probably at least the 421. So I'll trail the 421. Okay, I'm giving up about 420 points. That's fine. And then we'll see if we can capture the other 660 points of upside there. That'll be a nice little trade. Brando, what's good? Welcome to the best place on the internet. AB, welcome back. Whole squad is in the house. LOL A7MD, welcome to the best place on the freaking internet, guys. The fro is froing, which you can see. Look, guys, look at the fro. Look at the fro. Fro is froing. So let's talk about what's likely to happen today. Start tapping in every morning. Hey, appreciate that, man. Appreciate that. Just trying to show some real trading. Nothing sexy, just profitable. So every day, we have to ask ourselves two questions. Okay? What liquidity matters? Two, how do we get there? All right. So let's just do NQ today. Doesn't matter which one. We'll go to a lower time frame, go to the 4 hour. Okay. You see PT1 got taken out on NQ as well. And let's clean up all of our lines. We don't need PT1 lower. Higher got hit, pushing, very bullish price action. I'm going to open up the Discord and do the /calendar command to see what we have today. Just Canadian employment change. Yeah. So no tier 1 data, no more US tier 1 data. Okay, so there are a few very obvious shelves here. Let's actually go to the 8 hour, go a little bit higher, see what we see here. Very obvious support here, very obvious. We got a low here, low here, low here, low here. Okay, and then we got the 421 level, which has been very well respected intraday and on the macro. Okay, crack through it. We have this shelf right here. There's this little auction here. We got this little auction here, and we got this other auction here, right? All close together. So as we continue to range through here, these gaps are going to continue to fill in. Price action will break down on this time frame. Okay, it hasn't yet really, which is pretty interesting, but it will. Okay, and once the price fully breaks down on this time frame, we will basically just leave this area for good. We'll just leave this area for good, and then the next time we come back to this area, we'll actually rip through it pretty quickly. Okay, it'll just all just turn into one meat block like this, right? So on the way down, this will just, it'll be like a pretty crazy rip through it. Conquistador, what's good? Muthukumar, welcome back. Parvati, welcome back. Kirthana, welcome back. Whole family showing up today. What's up, y'all? All right. Anybody do their homework assignment? Think of some stuff they want to ask today? I have to leave pretty early today, guys. I got to leave at like 10:15 to go do a shoot with one of our clients out in the Gables. Conquistador said, OG Trade, what's up, man? Rajamani, what's up? Conquistador said, I draw boxes around the high value node until I get to the point where I can eyeball the edges better. How do you determine which shelf on the VP is confluence with the edge? Really good question. I'm going to try and make this as objective as possible. So let me find a really good example. So my strategy is, let me move this over a little bit actually. Line up node edges with candlestick edges. Okay. So here's what I mean by that. We can also add the SVP. Okay. So we have these nodes. These nodes are biased in the market. And then we have our 4 key levels that we care about every single day, right? Which is like prior day low. Let's mark that one up here. Okay. Prior day high, not really relevant. The most relevant high is this high here. So when I'm looking at my chart, let's just stick to these 2 levels for now. Is there any volume profile shelf that very clearly lines up with either of those levels, right? So there's this one down here. You can see that the edge of this auction also does line up with this low, right? So that is a really good level just due to the confluence. That's not always the case, okay? Just frankly. And when that's not the case, that's where the market gets more noisy. And the future price action is much less estimable, which is fine, okay? So what we want to do then is, well, I guess, yeah, that's really what we want to do. Is just line up structure with the auction, okay? You can also see that's why this 22,797, this level, I'm keeping this on here. I mean, in addition to being very obvious support, there's a very big drop off, right? Which is why this is such a strong level, right? The participation in the market, there's a big like empty space here. You know what I mean? We can see this here as well, right? So we're kind of in no man's land here as we grind up, right? I would not be surprised if this came all the way down back to 421. Just because it's an air gap above us, right? So that's really what I'm looking for when I'm lining up those edges. Or POCs. POCs are the other thing, right? It's kind of the opposite because the POC tends to be in the middle of a node, but you will often find edges that line up with a naked POC. And that's another good place for liquidity grab. Or in this meta, okay, this market meta, and I do mean this market meta, this isn't always the case, prior day VAL. I've mentioned that a few times. Right, prior day VAL has been a good bounce zone or liquidity grab, right? Basically it goes on, it sweeps all of the prior day's node to the lower side of the value area, and then it bounces. Okay, so some things to look out for. Let's go to the 1 hour. You see here it's rounding over a little bit. Whoa, that's not what I wanted. A little bit of consolidation here, right? So we have this B shape that's set up. Okay, B shape VP. If you can't see that, I'll just zoom in a little bit on the 1 hour. Okay, a B shape means that we have two. It's not a perfect B, right? The POC moved higher. 2 areas of influence. There's a big top wick on the 1 hour forming right here. It's candle closes in 12 minutes. It's pretty important. Anytime there's a B shape, you should expect this to try to fill in, or it's going to race down and come to this other node. We do also have this quasi naked POC. It was a naked POC, and then the settlement open candle slashed through it. And we do have a bit of an imbalance down here. Going back to what I just said, right? Easily could see prior day VAL being on the table in this uptrend. So it's a very rangy uptrend overall. But we did get a pretty aggressive bounce out of this settlement move from the other day. So right now, still upside biased, right? Swinging this macro Macro longs, very green again. And we're just chilling. Just executing extreme patience. My only goal with RTH trading is to just pad my account stack, capital stack, basically. That's literally my goal. I'm not going to say, I was about to say, I don't care if I make money. That's not true. It's a little egregious. But the swing trade is my trade. Everything else is, you could call it hedging, but I'm not really thinking of hedging. It's just, can I get some more capital to trade with? So would it be best to mark the pivots of the market before drawing the boxes on the VRVP? Yeah, it can be. Personally, so like I'll keep this prior day low and this high here as visual indicators for you all. And the reason is like, so today, if I had to pick a low of the day, this would be my lowest of the day here. It would be 23,052. Right? So it acts as a target, but this would be the level to sweep today would be this level, right? After that, it would be a surprise essentially. And the same for here, right? Higher, I would expect this edge to get swept and not go too much higher, right? I would expect a sweep and then a consolidation or sweep and then a pretty mean reversion. But very often, like the way that I prefer to trade is without those there, and I just will put alerts here, right? You guys will often see alerts. Okay. The reason I do alerts is because I'm literally typically not taking any action until we hit either of these levels. The odds, right, at least for the trades of the magnitude that I try to take, there's just no point in me putting risk on until we hit either of those edges. So, yeah. What indicator is that? This is the visible range volume profile on the right side. It shows you the volume profile for everything that's on the screen. So if I want to like adjust it quickly, I can just adjust what's on my screen and it'll update. And then I have the session volume profile, which shows the VP for per session. New York session has been doo-doo lately. Yeah, I mean, we're in an uptrend. VIX has been coming down. Let's see what the VIX is at today, actually. So VIX is at 16. It had popped up a little bit there. Okay, it bounced off this 15 level, had a spike of volatilities coming down. It is what it is. I was looking at the options from the August 1st drop off. Let me just show you guys this actually. This is a chart from my 4-spot, but check out this link. Those puts went from $1 up to $30, and I don't think that those were even the highest ones. I was looking around a bit. 62.65s. There's some really good downside trades there. I think the next time Trump gives a very specific date on tariffs, I'm probably going to do like a 5 to 10K position. Probably trounce across a few expiries and try and squeeze out a 100K. That was like an easy 100K trade right there that I did not take because I was distracted and busy. Oh man. So today both PTs, I took off the PT one on NQ, but you can rewind the stream, see that was there. So both of the PTs that I called out yesterday got hit on the upside. Got the 4-hour closing soon. 4-hour chart, by the way, is just up candles galore. We had a volume build higher and a note, the POC shifted higher. So still very bullish overall. That being said, would not be surprised if it came down a little bit. traversed the lower side of our B shape, or even prior to AVAL. All of that is fine to me. Are there instructional videos on using the 4-spot with the plans? It's free. So you can use it for free for a limited number of queries. I will be adding instructional videos. I can show you guys how it works really quickly if you just want to see how this works. Hold on. There it is. Holy smokes, that looks crazy. All right. So the way that this tool works is come up here, you find a ticker, right? Defaults to SPXW. Strike price, I'll do 62.65. I select if I want puts or calls. Then you choose the expiration date, right? So I'm going to choose August 1st. August 1st. It's going to update everything to the first. So it defaults to like 0 DTEs. But what I want to choose is the chart date range. So I'm curious how the contracts that expired on the 1st did, you know, maybe the 30th through the 1st, right? So the chart's going to start on the 30th. It's going to end on the 1st. I could choose my interval. I'll do a 5-minute chart and I'll hit load chart, right? It's the same chart. Then I get this chart over here, right? This is using TradingView's lightweight chart, so very familiar. Then I added this quick little nav down here if you want to go up and down the expiry for that the same set of parameters. I could say show me 62.55s, 62.40s, 220s, or I could switch over to calls entirely, right? Look at how calls did around this area. So once you find a section of time you want to investigate, you can go up and down it. Then for the AI thing, I could say what was the highest ROI contract on August 1st. This mostly works. We'll see what it gives me. Hopefully, didn't blow it up. I've been making a lot of changes. All right, it gave me, let's ask it to show me a chart. Yeah, so that is not the correct response. So I got to fix this. The problem with this part right here is that I need to cache a lot of data, and I'm building that right now. I have like an entire message queue system that I'm building because I need to cache. Originally, this worked fine because I was just doing it for SPXW, but I actually want to, when I ask it the highest ROI, I actually wanted to look across the entire market, right? Which is useful for discovery. So, and then there's a calendar. There's a data calendar, which apparently isn't updated. Got to fix that. So, yeah, the main thing that works right now is the historical option analysis, which is really why I built this. All right, so this is just a tool that I built for myself originally, and then, you know, decided to let other people use it. So that is that. Check it out. But you can use it for free. You do have to make an account though. It's the 4-spot limit SPX or any stock index. Any ticker works. Should work. Any ticker should work. I wonder if I should work overtime at my job to get 5 150K TPT evals with the no fee 40 code. Oh. It comes to 1K at checkout with no activation fee. I would say no. Here's what I would say. If you are a good trader, and let's just assume you are, okay, just get one account. Just get one. I can't remember what the accounts are, but get a payout and use that to bankroll getting more leverage is what I would say. This week giveaway, I'm going to wait to do a giveaway until I hear back from MFF on what's going on over there. I work at Amazon. There's at least 2 or 3 people who haven't gotten their account, so I'm trying to fix that before I do more. But we'll do another giveaway, hopefully starting again next week. I work at Amazon and make $500 weekly, working 40 hours a week, but with overtime, I can make $1K a week. I don't know if I should work the overtime to get the 5. I mean, work the overtime to get the money, perhaps, if that's useful to you, but I would not. Money hates desperation, right? So if you put all your eggs into this basket of like needing these 5 accounts to work out, I don't know. I would work the overtime, buy like 2 accounts, pocket the rest of the money, put that in a little savings account or something. It sounds like maybe you don't have a savings account. So put that into your savings, trade. I do giveaways. Yeah, typically every week. This is the first week I haven't done a giveaway. I give away 5 accounts a week. But the back end of that, I think they got a little overwhelmed with all the stuff they have going on. And so it's going to take a break. But yeah, I typically give away 5 prop accounts every week. Like the stream, by the way. Help a brother out. Good morning. Why does the live keep pausing? Oof, I don't know. And we're pushing higher still. Very bullish price action. Literally just holding this long, guys. I'm not up another couple hundred points. I'll have to see what my stats are, but I'm up a couple thousand points in like 3 trades in the past 2 weeks. Open a Roth IRA. Any problems with MFF? I don't know. That's what I'm trying to figure out. I'm trying to figure out what they got going on over there. Yo, Forrest, I see many people using only the RTH for analysis. Why do you use the full trading day? Because it's better. The next big trade to take, guys, by the way, right? If you didn't get this entry on the swing down here, right, at 22,797, the next big trade to take is going to be after we sweep all-time highs or this 24,497, right? That'll be the next one. Am I holding that swing long from a couple weeks ago? Yeah. What is RTH? Regular trading hours. 9:30 to 4:30. Or sorry, 9:30 to 4 is regular trading hours. To your question, OG, I have been very upside swing bias because that has just been where so much of the money has been. And I've just made, I have consciously opted out of taking any of these other trades because of the math. When you actually break down of just putting most of your leverage into a swing, it's really hard to make more money doing anything in the middle. To the point of like it's really hard. I doubt that in this environment you could do better unless you're like perfect. What is macro and why is it the best time to trade? By the way, Forrest, I tried going into your playlist section to study higher time frame analysis. I couldn't figure out where to start. Can you guide me? Sure. I probably need to clean that up, to be honest. My YouTube is a little disorganized right now. I need to do I'm always trying to level up the videos. There's a lot of stuff on there. I need to go through and like clean it up and like stuff like that. So unfortunately, it's a little messy, but let's do a little breakdown right now of why the higher time frames are better. So macro just means it's the opposite of micro. So macro is big, micro is small. So macro is relative. Let's just think the daily. Anything in the daily or higher. What's useful about trading, let's just say the daily time frame versus like a 5-minute time frame. Okay. And you'll see a lot of people trade the 5-minute or lowers or scalpers. Those people, for example, I have a trade I entered, okay, off of 22,797, right? It wasn't exactly, it was a little higher. It was more like 22,860, right? But it was off of this line, okay? Let's just say we'll actually measure off of 860. Hold up. Okay. So right now I'm up 800-ish points on this swing long. It is impossible for you to get 800 points trading on the 5-minute chart. You also will never catch up to me trading on the 5-minute chart. It's not a competition, right? So when I say catch up to me, what I really mean is catch up to you trading on a higher time frame. So when I look at me trading on the lower time frames, and I was pretty good. I was a pretty good scalper, guys. Like I was taking 30, 40 trades a day. I was making money. I was doing decent. But when you actually look at the cumulative points week by week or month over month, you're just going to make a lot more going for the big hits, right? If you look at your P&L and ask and just see how long has it taken you to get 800 points, I might not take any other trades today, but if I just stay in this one that I'm in, I might get up to 1,000, right? Or whatever it is. That's the benefit of trading on the higher time frames, is the expected value of your trades is just bigger, especially when you're trading with the trend as well, right? Trend trading. Okay, the expected value of this trade is, semi-infinite. I could, if I just wanted to like hold this forever, I'm not going to necessarily. It's basically infinite. I know that, the market's not necessarily going to go like this right now, so I'm not going to do that. That's basically what investing is. So my goal as a trader is to identify areas that are probably relative lows, like this one, snipe to this one. Okay, I was off by like 50 points, which is whatever when you're going for, 1,600, and just hold that thing. That's the simplest way that I could put why trading the macro is better. Let's just say that you perfectly traded this zone, for example, all this chop in here, you perfectly traded this, you're still making less points than someone who just swung from here to here. It's just impossible, unless you're like some savant. But even if you were a savant, you would still make more money just by putting all your leverage into some higher time frame trade. Sony Waterford, welcome back. Domo, what's up? What account balance should one look to obtain to trade the higher time frame and swing those trades you are mentioning? Do it with one MNQ. Okay, I don't know what the leverage is on like a Ninja or AMP. Okay, one MNQ is $2. And I really want to map this out for you guys because it's going to teach you the power of patience, how important this is. Okay, one MNQ is equal to $2. Okay. If you would have traded, let's just say the close, let's say you weren't perfect. Let's say you bought this, after you got some confirmation, from here up to here. That's 4,200 points. Okay, actually, since we're doing theory, let's just say from the bottom to the top, whatever, 7,000 points. 7,100 points times $2 is equal to 14K. How many of you, be honest in the chat, have made $14,000 or more since the low in April? Okay. Okay. Now, I bet your goal as a trader is to make money. I'm positive that it is. What happens with 99 or 98% of the people that I see trading on the internet is that they forget what their goal is. Okay, the reason you don't do this is you forget what the goal is. I forget what the goal is, right? We're all susceptible to this. This is why I continue to evolve as a trader, okay? Right? You think the goal is trading this next candle, okay? But the goal is to make money, okay? So a lot of people right now, you can go across YouTube, right? Let's go to the 5-minute chart. And they're like maximum brain power. They're locked in. They're like, oh, okay, guys, we got a negative IHC, negative value, upward, shooting unicorn. And we're going to go for a 1-1 on the downside. Whatever that means. It's just stupid, okay? And we all get sucked into that, right? But eventually you do that enough, and then you look at the metrics. And if you remember that your goal is to make money, you're like, wait, why am I doing this? So to answer your question more directly, because I know you didn't ask for me to do this whole little demonstration, you said, how big of an account should you have, right? You don't need a lot of money, guys. You really don't. One M&Q, I think, to hold it through settlement, maybe you need $1,000. I don't know what the settlement requirements are for one M&Q. It's not a lot, though. It's probably a couple $1,000s, okay? And even if you can't hold through settlement, you might have to be a little more active, but try to lean into trading less and doing this. Okay, there are some days where, if we go to the 4-hour, for example, even if you weren't swinging, let's just say you traded this on the, this is 500 points of opportunity here. If you caught half of that with one M&Q, you're making $500. So simpler is always better. Silence, yeah. So, and that's fine, guys. Everything that I show you guys, by the way, is stuff that I do for myself, okay? I like to do these things for myself, reinforce it for myself. It's just math, I wish it was possible to trade every candle and beat doing simpler stuff. That would be cool. It'd be nice if I can catch every zigzag, and make, 50,000 points in this uptrend. It's just impossible. Top-down analysis. So basically the way that I do it every morning is I ask those two questions: what liquidity matters and how do we get there? Right? I'm an auction market theory trader, so I know that the market's always seeking out liquidity. Liquidity, by the way, is another way of thinking about where people are positioned. So let's just use this low as an example. It's the most recent relevant example. I know that people were shorting the heck out of this down here, right? And then there was a huge drop off. So at the edge of this market where we lose participation, okay, there's a short trap here. We know that we're gonna have buy aggressors here from the people who were trapped here short last time. So as we approach this edge, we swept these people, right? Buy aggressors came in, and that's where we got the bounce. So my top-down analysis always really starts on at least the daily. Very often you'll see me come up to the weekly though, okay? And what's crazy about it, this isn't like some stuff that I invented or made up. It's actually alarming to me how few traders I see even look at the weekly and monthly timeframes, or just go to the higher timeframes in general. And I think they're just leaving a lot of money on the table. So that's what I do. I ask very simple questions. On the weekly time frame, what makes sense for the next candle? Not what do I want to happen, but what makes sense. So if I think on Monday that the weekly candle, let's say on Monday I thought the weekly candle was going to do this, right? So we closed last week down here. If I thought that the weekly candle was going to do this, it doesn't make sense to be shorting on Tuesday, right? Right. If I think that the weekly is going to be like a tweezer up, Why would you short on Tuesday? Doesn't make any sense. You should basically just be looking for longs during this week because you think this week is going to close high. You know what I mean? Very simple stuff like that like people just don't do, right? Or what's even worse is you'll ask them and they'll say, yeah, I think we're going to go up this month. I think the monthly is going to close up. And then you get their trade log and it's just short. And you're just like, well, I thought you said we were going to go up this month. So it's not just about looking at the charts and doing the analysis. It's about actually incorporating those higher time frames into your, lower time frame execution. And then I keep drilling down. And then really the lowest time frame that I like to go to nowadays is the 1 hour. Sometimes I'll sneak a peek at like the 15 and things like that, but it's just not necessary in this environment. I'm not trading. I'm not taking any trades off that. And because I'm so busy like running my business right now, like I literally am not looking at the charts at all until like 2 or 3 o'clock. Like once I get off here, I do not look at the charts at all. Like I'm not like whatever's cooking is cooking. Don't see it. Doesn't happen. The live keeps pausing and freezing on IG. Not sure if you're aware. I'll have to fix that. I'm not sure why. I had to leave and come back for the live to stop cutting out. Huh. Yeah, that's not good. 1,700 on Tradeovate, 3,400 on Thinkorswim. Not bad. So the challenge for you, OG, is obviously we're near all-time highs now. There's going to be another pullback. Whatever the next macro trend is, just ask yourself, can I position for what for what you think the next macro wave is going to be? And you will triple those numbers easily. Same for you, Conquistador. What made you so confident that 22,796 was the low? I was expecting 22,200. In just experience, 22,200. What's that? 22,200. 22,200 is just a large move down. Yeah. So you basically would have to think that this was the high for us to come down and have such a steep decline and just racing through this trend line, basically. I've seen enough kind of grindy uptrends as well to know that we get these fake outs. So I expect to be faked out, right? And because I have that expectation, I know that these lows are much more likely to get swept and respected than for us to just race through them. So it's partly experience, but there's just so much confluence with this node and these lows here, right? If we go back to this time frame, let's see what this looked like at this time. All right, so we'll play this out. So you can see here, oh, I went ahead too much. There's this auction that was here, right? So I'm looking at this on the daily. I'm looking at it on the 24-hour right now, but this is the daily chart. And I see these lows here, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 candles that consolidated here. And there's a shelf here. So to me, we can't ignore this auction. This auction is too important to ignore. So I'm going, this is probably going to be where it taps out. A bunch of people are going to get trapped, bear trapped, looking for some, big sell-off. And that's exactly what happened. So a little bit of experience on that one, to be honest. Informative show, nice. Thank you, Trading on Tilt. That means a lot to me, actually. I appreciate it. I do appreciate it. Thanks, Forrest. Got my usual 50 points already done. Post any new pics from your studio? I'll stop by today. Actually, I might stop by today. I have a very busy day today. I actually need to run, though, guys. Losing track of time here. But I actually need to run over to my current studio. But I'll post some updates of the build out. We finished all the drywall. The The offices are basically done. They're like mudding and stuff. We have baseboards coming in. I spent $8K on doors, on glass doors, which was nuts. We're like, how over budget are we? We're like $30,000 over budget on this thing, which is cool. So that's fun. What? I just got settled in for the day. Yeah, rewind the stream, check it out. I will be back. I usually stream Monday and Wednesday at least, sometimes Thursdays. But yeah, welcome to the squad, Trading on Tilt. Check out the Discord if you want. There's a free trial in there. We have a few of my friends and peers who also stream in there. For everybody though, I want to leave you with a little message of positivity per usual. We'll switch to the big cam. Your dreams are worth getting after, okay? Those things that keep you up at night, don't go to bed tonight with the exact same dreams, right? One of the affirmations that I make to myself is that my dreams are not dreams to me. They are the purpose of my existence, and I live them daily, okay? There's a few others. I am the personification of confidence. I've got some trading related ones, right? Write some affirmations down. Affirm yourself. The younger version of you is looking for you to get it done. Your partner, your friends, the people that live in your community are looking at you, right? There are people who believe in you. I believe in you. And I will see you on the next stream. I'm out of here. Subscribe, like the stream, call your mom. I'm out of here.